Back in 2003, if my memory serves me right, my cousin began dating a woman who was smarter, nicer and way more successful than he was. As the outsider looking in, I never quite understood why she chose to be with him. My aunt and uncle, cousin's parents, never treated her with the respect that she deserved. In fact, they despised her for being able to outshine their precious prince in every way possible. My cousin's chauvinism too would rear its ugly head, and he would pick fights with her over the dumbest things. One such fight that my dad and I witnessed was him telling her not to accept a job offer that would pay her double of what he was making at the time. About a month after that, my dad received a call from her tearfully telling him that my cousin had left her for another girl. And what's more, he did it over the phone. She said she knew who the other girl was and that she was probably with my cousin when he broke up with her, as she could hear her voice. They had been together for 2 years, and this apology for a human being didn't even have the decency to break up with her in person. As expected, my aunt and uncle defended their son. According to them, it was obviously his girlfriend's fault for not knowing her place. My cousin's new girlfriend couldn't hold a candle's wax to his ex in terms of talent and accomplishments. But she did stroke his ego and did not threaten his super fragile masculinity, so he ended up marrying and having a kid with her. Fast forward to now, my cousin was laid off from his last job. The circumstances of his dismissal are not known to me. What I have found out is that the boss of his boss at his new job is the woman he had betrayed and humiliated years ago. I can only imagine what this is doing to the sadist within my cousin, and I cannot help but smile when I think about it. I learned all this from my dad. Dad is still in touch with one of her uncles, and we decided to get her number and get in touch with her. Yesterday, my dad and I FaceTimed with her for nearly an hour. She asked me about my life and I told her all about my job, my boyfriend, etc. She said she was happy for me. She told us she had been happily married for 8 years now and had 2 daughters. She looked confident and radiant. I jokingly asked her how she planned to punish my cousin. She laughed and said she would probably thank him for breaking up with her and making her realize that he just wasn't right for her. Her smile was that of someone who has completely healed. Someone who can say, "Thank you for doing what you did to me, my life is better because of it." My justice sword was raging the whole time, and the sense of pride and vindication I felt was almost overwhelming. She had won, and she bloody well knew it. In case if you're wondering, I do have her consent for sharing her story here. The background: last September my ex broke up with me while I was on deployment, and it almost killed me. I had to spend 5 of the last months of my deployment dealing with the breakup, and it was hard. I couldn't go out to the bars with friends, I could distract myself with nice things to do, I couldn't even see my friends or family in person. I had to lean heavily on this subreddit and a few of my close friends to help me through. The day I finally snapped was last December. It was 2 months post-breakup/no contact, and I called my ex. She didn't answer, and I left a long message bawling my eyes out, begging her to talk to me. She sent me a message essentially saying, "We are done and you need to move on." It crushed me all over. I wasn't done, and I sure as hell wasn't moving on. Rebuilding, that day changed me. I had become so weak, and it took me that long to realize it. I had to rebuild my confidence from the ground up. I started a bucket list, and over this last year I've accomplished every goddamn goal. The week after that call I got my A in the gym. I started lifting at 160 pounds 6 feet tall. Just over a year later I am at 185 pounds, the best shape I've ever been in, and looking ducking good. In my time dating after I returned home, I've been showered with compliments on my figure, and it feels ducking great because I worked for it. I still work for it, and it's something that no one can ever take from me. I have such a love for lifting now because I truly believe it saved me. It helped me rebuild my confidence day by day, month by month. At the same time I started at the gym, I learned to play the ukulele. I wanted to learn an instrument. I spent the following months on deployment getting better and better. Learning and having fun, and finally being able to play an instrument. Something I've wanted to do all my life. When I returned home I continued those habits and started more. I started swing dancing lessons. Took several months worth of classes and got pretty damn good. More importantly, I met some really awesome friends and discovered a passion I never thought I'd have. I bought a guitar on a whim and learned to play that too. I'm still not great, but in the few months I've been playing I'm good enough to do an open mic, and I'm satisfied with the fact I can play and sing to some of my favorite songs. Again, it's been a life goal that took me this long to start. I joined a book club and became super close with a lot of new people. It's been an intense year of growth with my circle of friends. Lastly, the dating. I've had a lot of luck with my new confidence, physique, and having hobbies people find interesting. I've relearned that I'm a ducking catch, and honestly, way out of my ex's league. I've met so many wonderful women and I'm currently working on my openness and honesty about carrying around some baggage left in the trust department. So many people are understanding and I've been seeing a girl for a month and she's incredible. We are staying casual, but guys and gals, she gives me butterflies. How cool is that crap? A year ago I wouldn't have even considered that being a possible future for me. I wrote this post to hopefully give you guys some hope, and definitely to give you some motivation. Make the best of your next year and become a great person. Become the best version of you that you can imagine. That's the goal I've been marching towards, and I can now say that I am so grateful for my breakup, because without that pain and suffering, those long nights of being sick to my stomach crying my eyes out, and that anger and sadness, I would have never started this journey and I wouldn't be who I am right now. And I love who I am right now. I still care about my ex, and I occasionally still think about her. We haven't spoken in almost a year, and I don't get hurt when I talk about her or think about her. It's a great feeling, and you will get there soon. At your own pace, but don't fret, because you can heal. I was so worried I was never going to, but it does happen. For me, it happened in a way I barely noticed. I still have healing to do, trust and intimacy issues to tackle, and more personal growth in my future. The momentum isn't stopping here. Smile, much love, everyone. Stay tough, and my inbox is open for anyone needing to chat, heart. I am a 21-year-old college student and my soon-to-be ex-BF is a 35-year-old business owner. We were GF and BF first and then I started working for him. We have been together for almost 2 years. I moved into his house pretty quickly, 3 months after our first date, and a year later, I moved out because we were not getting along at all, fighting and disagreeing all the time. We took a month break but he still paid me for a month's work because he cared about me and didn't want me to be financially unstable. During that month, we still saw each other all the time, had says, too, and he realized quickly he made a mistake and wanted me to come back to him. I was starting school in a new city and I had just sublet an apartment so we have an hour distance between us. I still worked for him as an executive assistant part-time. FF to now. We have been getting along great, better than ever I would say. We made plans to go to 16 Fish shows this summer together, it's our vacation. And out of the blue, he calls me crying today saying how depressed he's been. He says how much he cares about me but he needs time to be alone. It's not because he wants to duck other girls, it's because he is always down on himself and he has no self-confidence. He thinks he is not good enough for me and he only wants me to be happy. He said I am the best GF he has ever had in his life and his friends and family agree. He says he has his issues to sort out and he doesn't want to drag me down with him. Having said all that, he still wants me to be his exec assistant and platonic friend. He said he doesn't want to go to the Fish shows alone and still wants me to come along with him. This is too awkward for me to handle. We won't be having sex or dating but he still wants to be my friend. I have never done this with an ex. If I don't agree to this, I will have to quit my job. Probably won't be able to find a new job or even a job that pays half as well because I don't have my degree yet. And I won't be able to afford my schooling and apartment anymore. Basically, my life will be a crapstorm. I still love him and want to be with him. But not as his platonic concert buddy. What I am asking is, do you think this will work? I have to hide my feelings basically every time I am around him, even when we go out outside the workplace because he wants to hang out with me, and live a life of misery knowing that I am only his friend. I need my job though. Frown edit, TL, DR, boyfriend is my boss. Wants to break up because he is depressed but still wants me to be his executive assistant and platonic friend. If I don't comply, no job, no income, will lose my apartment. Very bad things. I still love him and will be very miserable if I have to hide my feelings. But I need my job. Will this work? Her dad runs a pretty serious company and she is the boss of around 30 employees. We ride to work every day together which is in NYC so it's about an hour and a half drive to get there. She really bit the bullet for me telling her dad to hire me, because to get this job without any kind of college education is kind of insane. I am only 20, and she is 21 so going straight from working, to having absolutely no clue of work ethic or even having a job is kind of crazy for me. So yeah, back to the chewing out. I was behind 3 times this week with filing paperwork, and the first 2 times she kind of just came over to my desk and asked me if I needed help or anything, and I told her no both times. Now it's the 3rd time and she calls me to her office. Boom, she is giving me what she gave another employee for not cleaning his food out of the fridge. I've never been admonished by her before, talking about how she went out on a limb to get me this job, and I'm ducked if I think I will just sit through the whole thing. Then when we get into the car, it's like nothing happened. I don't even understand what the duck happened or if I should be super upset. I feel really bad too, because now I look like a fool because everyone really likes her as a boss and they probably don't understand what I did fully to have her yell at me. She only takes home 30% of her pay with the rest going to whoever works under her. I can't tell if I ducked up or if she did.